Here. Everyone, please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll move it.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, the motion passes. Do I have a motion to acknowledge the minutes of May 8, 2023?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor? Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, the motion passes. The next item on the agenda is public hearing. This is pursuant to the notice that was given on May 8th, calling a public hearing concerning the upgrade of sludge digestion facilities at the Tri-Municipal Sewer Plant. Estimated cost is related to the town's portion, $722,279.94. CT Mail Associate have mentioned we have attachments here on their recommendations for Tri-Municipal. So do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll move it.
Motion and second. I'll take yours as a second. Okay, motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, the motion passes. So again, this is a public hearing related to the upgrades that we had discussed at the board meeting back on the May 8th. This is at the recommendation of the engineers to Tri-Municipal. We did have good discussion amongst the board members relating to that. Do we have any comments from the public? Okay.
I have a question about it, though.
Go ahead.
So,
Or we can discuss it at the resolution.
That's what I was going to
okay,
do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fine.
let's
Let's
do
close the
that.
public hearing.
that's fine.
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, the motion is closed. The public hearing is closed. Next item is a motion to open the public portion of the meeting to discuss agenda items. If there are any comments, do I have a motion?
Make a motion to open it to the public.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, the motion passed. Any public comments tonight?
Make a motion to close the public
second it.
portion.
Motion and second to close the public portion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, the motion passed. The next item for discussion is a review of the laptop quotes for the 14 or 15-inch models. This is per Craig's email. Last board meeting, we had discussed it, and then he had asked for some guidance with respect to 14, 15. Again, just as a reminder, the 14-inch, including a mouse, was $689.03, and the 15-inch is $1,217.57. What's the difference? So I don't know if anybody has any. Angela?
I have no preference.
I have none.
Let me just take a look at this for a second. He emailed this to us?
Yes, along with the two quotes for those I just summarized.
I don't know if I
those.
got that email.
We can defer this, I guess.
That's fine. I
Yeah,
mean, I
let's
don't have a
defer this,
problem
Bill. You can
table.
look at it, give your comments. They're
Okay, I
valuable.
have a motion table.
Yeah.
Okay,
Make a motion to
Second.
table. Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, motion passes. The next item is Resolution 2023-71. This is a motion to reschedule the town board workshop, to June the 10th at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Sharp. This is because of a conflict that we discovered after the last resolution. So do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, motion passed. Again, public workshop, board meeting that will be here to discuss on Saturday morning, June the 10th, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., and we'll have agenda item out there before the meeting as we normally will. The next item is Resolution 2023-72. This is a resolution authorizing the settlement of tax certiorari proceedings regarding Crivas Executive Park LLC. This is for a reduced assessment for the years 2021 and 2022 per the settlement agreement. And Jim, do you have any comments since your firm was involved in that?
Yes, so this was, this is the Executive Park building, which is on the corner of Middle Bush and Route 9. It's the building on the southwest corner. There is some vacant space you know, we had some discussions with the assessor regarding this, and, you know.
No, this is a different parcel.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's 66 Middle Bush. So this is between McFarland and,
Oh, this is the one across the.
Across from McFarland?
Yeah, is this 1207?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, 1207, that's the other executive park. Right, so, yeah, so there's some vacancies in this space. They're actually currently before the planning board seeking signs. It's predominantly office space. The value of office space has, you know, gone down in recent years. This was recommended by the assessor. You know, we had negotiations regarding this, and this is settlement of 2 years.
And then the assessment and valuation, you know, was that changed from the assessor's opinion, Jim, going to $2,300,000 for 23 through 25?
Yes.
That's per the assessor's
Right,
recommendation.
so basically the assessed value for for 23 was to be settled at 2.3 million, and then under 727, where you have a settlement and a tax certiorari, the landowner is not permitted to bring an assessment, a new petition for the next 3 years. So this provision sets that rate at 2.3 for the next 3 years, and then I believe the town and special district refunds are waived.
Okay.
Do we have any idea what 2020 was? And the reason I'm asking that is because assessments for homes have been going up significantly over the last 3 years. So what I want to see is if 2021 and 22 are going up and now 2023 is going down to 2.3 million, which, by the way, is a pretty significant drop from where they are today. If you look at the percents, you know, 2021 is down, you know, 10%, 2022 is down, you know, 14.4%, and now looking at 2.3 million is down an even larger dollar amount. So is there any way to find out? Again, I want to make sure it's kind of consistent with.
So office, you know, the real estate market for offices and retail is going the opposite way of residential. You know, as you know, there's a lot of vacant office space and there's a lot of vacant retail space. Even more so office space because people are working from home. Many, you know, companies are now, you know, downsizing office space, particularly in Manhattan. There's a lot of downsizing. A lot of people are working from home. So, you know, the commercial real estate market and the residential real estate market are not going in the same direction.
Well, if you look at this 2021 to 2022, it's actually going up 2.782 to 2.921, so it is going up.
Well, yeah, but they reduced it to 2.5.
Right.
Well, I got it, they reduced it, but the initial assessment is going up.
Yeah.
So I'm not so sure your statement was 100%
Well, again,
correct.
that's a function of assuming 100% occupancy rate. So when you come in with, you know, lower occupancy rates, that's the value. One of the things that you look at when you're valuing commercial properties is what's the rent roll. You're not really looking at necessarily the replacement value or the actual cost of the building. What you're looking at is what the rent roll is. Typical, you know, I mean, it used to be rule of thumb was 8 times the rent roll was the value, as you know, as a good rule of thumb for most commercial properties. But, you know, and that's one of the things that we look at when we're negotiating these settlements. My recollection in when we looked at this, I want to say they had about a 40% vacancy rate.
Okay.
Is assessment based solely upon capacity or occupancy, or is it a factor of?
So typically you know, where there's no assessment proceeding, where there's no grievance in place, it's typically done on a square footage basis. So, you know, you look at the value of office space and it'll be, generally, and then it goes by class, Class A, if it's very desirable office space, it has one value. If it's, average, then it has another value. And it's basically used off of a square footage number. The assessor typically does not have access to the rent rolls when he's doing a regular assessment. The only time that information comes into play when the property owner brings a grievance and starts a certiorari proceeding.
Okay, any
So
other
the-
questions?
The only reservation I have is locking in, it's, we're doing a reduced assessment to 2.5
that's
for
what I asked.
21 and 22, and then we're locking in 2.3 for 23, 24, 25. So I guess if we're looking down field here and there's, economic instability, I think what the strategy here was to maintain the 2.3 million for 3 years, where there could be assessment reductions in commercial real estate. Is that correct?
It goes both ways, and that's a function of 727. So 727 basically prohibits the owner of the property from bringing a new tax certiorari proceeding
Right.
for 3 years. So what's common is to, again, it's not done in all proceedings, but in this proceeding, and that's one of the things that we talked about, is for that reason, just so whether they go up or down, they're fixed at that number. So,
Yeah.
the town has, is kind of betting on that they may go down, and the property owner's betting on they may go up. But
So we're really only looking at 2 years ahead here. This is basically going back to 21, 22, 23.
right. So the 23
Yeah,
roll
correct.
is currently
Right.
it's out, and so grievance day is
25th, I think.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Right, first goes
20.
Tuesday. So Thursday is grievance day, and then the roll becomes final after that. Roll becomes final July 1. So the 23.
So essentially, all this does is by moving the money around, right? So going from 2.921 to 2.5 down to 2.3, moves the P around, so somebody else is going to pay for it because you got to
Yeah.
fix it.
Well, we got a refund back on 21, 22, and, 21 and 22, correct?
The refunds for the town and the special districts are waived. So
Okay.
it's only the special.
Yeah,
it's only the
it's-
school.
it says in there they just waived.
Okay, all right. Then I have no problem, I'll move it.
Second.
Okay, motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, the motion passes. Next item is Resolution 2023-73. This is a resolution setting storage fees for impounded vehicles. This is setting it at $50 per day.
Move.
Second it.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, the motion passes. The next, actually, 2 items are related to the tri-municipal improvements. The first one is Resolution 2023-74 in the matter of the increase and improvement of the facilities of the United Wappinger Sewer District in the town of Wappinger, Dutchess County, New York. Councilman Phillips, you had a question.
Yeah, so any upgrades done to Tri-Muni, are we contractually liable for?
Yes.
So they could decide that they want to build something, so we have to pay 49, whatever percent. Is that always?
To maintain the system, yes.
Okay.
To expand the
Expansion, no.
system, no. So this is a maintenance, this is a replacement of existing
And
facility.
the only reason because I don't know what half this stuff does, but I Googled it. And it has to do with the fumes that come out of the plant. And I can tell you the people in the third ward have never complained to me about Tri-Muni.
That's because they're nowhere near it.
Yeah.
And that's my point.
You should go to a meeting down there.
So, but
You'll
the
be
point is,
traumatized.
if it's their residents complaining about smell and it doesn't have anything to do with the operation or output or the flow of sewage, I just would like to get maybe Mike Tremper to give us to take a look at it and tell us what he thinks about it.
So the other issue is this is a requirement for the DEC permit. So to the extent you don't do the upgrades and DEC does not issue a permit renewal, then we have to build or find a new sewage treatment.
So has also the village and the town of Poughkeepsie signed off on this yet?
The town of Poughkeepsie has, I don't know about the.
I don't believe the village has yet, but.
So again, it's contingent upon all three
Just asking for
municipalities.
Mike to give his opinion on it, and
I have talked with Mike, and I think Jim has, and he is okay with this proposal. This is significant reduction over what was
Yeah, I know,
originally
it was
being proposed.
crazy,
I mean, it was a lot more than
I
this
mean, the other
1.2
issue,
million.
the other thing here, frankly, is these are upgrades to the processing the plant. The original equipment is nigh on 30 years old, so this is more automated equipment, which would allow for distribution of the effluent between the tanks, which is part of the, part of this. Right now, from the descriptions that I've heard, basically, it takes an operator to move it from one tank to the other by opening and closing valves, whereas the way this is set up, this would be automated through a SCADA system so that the flows would generate based on what's coming out of the upstream of the digesters or the clarifiers. So as the effluent would come out of the clarifiers, it would go, into the digesters. And the digesters, it's kind of a, almost like, aging wine, if you will. It goes from one to another through the aging process. And it's portion, you're taking out.
You couldn't have found a better analogy.
Yeah, aging wine.
Aging wine when talking about a sewer plant.
So you,
Chris, my understanding is that in part it helps improve the efficiency of the plant. It's not just for the smell, which is an important part for the Sheep-Root residents and others, but
I understand it, it's just, quite frankly, because we have no direct eyes on this, I'm very skeptical about any, for a dime, I'm skeptical
Right,
about it.
sure.
But there's no guarantee it's going to get rid of the smell.
no.
Am I right?
No,
So-
no, and it's not,
And I
it's really
agree
not.
with you that maybe Mike Trepper should come in.
So
and
we had
talk to us.
conversation with Mike. Mike said there's no violations on the flow.
Right.
There was no request from DEC on I&I, right? And he said, basically, the improvement's not going to increase the treatment capacity.
And it's
So
not
again, my
designed
question,
to.
what's that?
it's not designed to.
So I guess my question is, this is not part of that big project we were talking about before.
No.
So this is something totally separate, because that's like a $14, $15 million project.
Right, this is a
which we were going to have
replacement
$4.4 million. So this is something totally separate?
Well, it's a replacement of existing facilities.
Which may or may not improve the odor problem.
Right, but it doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. We have to do this in order to meet the DEC, the new standards of the DEC.
No, I get that.
Right.
But how are we going to help the residents? How are the residents going to be happy without, they're still going to have an odor?
Which residents are going to have an odor?
Well, there
The ones that
are
are
some
complaining.
neighbors who complain.
Sheep Road is.
Chief Road
Right, but
residents.
that's not the town of Wappinger.
No.
This plant is in the town of Poughkeepsie, so the odor that is around that plant is not our problem. That is the Tri-Municipal Sewer Corporation's problem, or commission's problem. And this has to do with effluent standards, which have to be met now in 2023, which is basically, for a lack of a better comparison, making the output of this plant
Tastes like
closer
wine.
to clean water, basically.
Right.
Right? Because it dumps into the Hudson River. That's, the dirty little secret.
To the issue of odor, one of the things that this is supposed to do is create a more uniform compost at the end of the process, or sludge at the end of the process. Right now, one of the issues is that because of the existing system, it doesn't necessarily all come out the same way. Some of it may be wetter than others and, smellier. So one of the goals here is to make this treatment chain more uniform than what currently exists.
Jim, two questions. One is, if, let's just say we were to vote and pass it tonight, but it's still contingent on the village approving it,
Yeah,
right? It doesn't trigger.
Tri-Community is not going to award a contract until all three municipalities have adopted
Right.
funding mechanisms.
The second item is I have requested a meeting, and so far it's been ignored, to discuss increasing, our position. In other words, give us a voting position on the board. So I have no motivation, we have no motivation to pass this tonight, at this point in time. I think that the message needs to be made loud and clear that we want a seat at the table. So I would say that we should table this until we, we can have our engineers or Mike Tremper or both discuss with us, and two, is I get a response, from the village, at least to
agree.
meet with me.
I agree.
I agree.
So can we do something? We have a workshop on June 10th. Can we bring Mike Tremper in to talk about it? I mean,
We can
it's something
ask.
we want
can
to
ask.
entertain?
Sure,
I
I
don't
mean,
know
the
what his
engineers
plans
will
are.
be there, for the workshop
Right.
because of other things. They attend the meetings regularly with Jim. I don't attend because we don't have, well, I'm allowed to attend, but we don't have a seat. So
I get it, we need to do it, I understand that, but I think just a little
I'll ask
information.
them. At least the engineers are more than familiar because they've been watching this, closely. So we
Bill, you okay with that?
do that.
Move to table.
Okay.
Second.
Motion and second to table. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any nays or abstentions?
So that will also apply to number 75
Right,
as
yeah, let me
well.
come to that. Okay, so next item is Resolution 2023-75 in the matter of the increase and improvement of the facilities of the United Wappinger Sewer District in the town of Wappinger, Dutchess County, New York, tri-municipal sludge digestion upgrades. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to table it.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, the motion passes. The next item is Resolution 2023-76. This is a resolution accepting the MS4 report, that's the SWMP, for the period covering March 10th, 2022 through March 9th, 2023. Walter apologizes for not being able to be here tonight because he's under the weather. This is for our, and I put up here a copy for the board too, our MS4 stormwater management program, and this is the 2023 annual report that's required by law. This has been prepared by Walter under my direction and supervision, and I've been involved in discussing with it. As you may recall, also Susan Deo is our stormwater management officer involved in this. Walter has been our coordinator throughout this period of time of the existence of this report, which I've given the clerk a copy and make available, but I also believe it's on our website. This is one of the things. We have actually probably the best website around on MS4, process and so forth. So this is also covers our ongoing educational outreach. As I said, it's on our webpage, for the full content of the program. And this list on our website, our annual report, the SWMP, plan, et cetera. So, I am perfectly fine with this. Walter, as you know, is the penultimate master on this, and it lists in here some of the issues that we've had during the year, identifies, the challenges that he's addressed, I think, very well.
Done a great job in the
Yeah.
past, I have no issues.
Yeah.
I'll move it.
I have full faith in Walter's work, and I'll move it.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Already second.
Motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, the motion passed. So then I'll execute this per the resolution. The next item is the Resolution 2023-77. This is the acknowledgement of the correspondence log.
Move.
Motion second, all in favor? Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, the motion passes. The next item is one that we all, I think feel very strongly about. This month, we've had recognized a number of important activities, events, recognitions, and this is a resolution declaring May 2023 to be Military Appreciation Month in the town of Wappinger. Whereas for 4 generations, New Yorkers and Wappinger residents have proudly served our nation during times of conflict and peace, and whereas our brave servicemen and women and their families, their loved ones, have made great sacrifices to protect the freedoms we enjoy. Whereas New York has over 20,500 active military personnel stationed at Fort Drum Army Base, Fort Hamilton Army Base, U.S. Military Academy Army Base, NSA Saratoga Springs, and Watervliet Arsenal Army Base. Whereas our state's active duty personnel and more than 838,000 veterans daily impart courage, honor, and valor to their fellow New Yorkers. And whereas these service members and veterans are true leaders in our communities, are integral to the success, advancement, and prosperity of our state and community. Whereas, during Military Appreciation Month, we are reminded of the important role the United States Armed Forces and our New York National Guard have played in the history and development of our country and state, and of our responsibility as Americans to support and honor the selfless service of our military families. And whereas this month and throughout the year, we recognize our New York and Wappinger service members and veterans, and remember with deep gratitude the men and women who have given their lives in defense of our freedom. And therefore, be it resolved, the members of the board of the town of Wappinger do hereby proclaim the month of May 2023 as Military Appreciation Month in and throughout the town of Wappinger. In witness whereof, I, Richard L. Thurston, Supervisor, have entered here to set my hand this 22nd day of May 2023. Do I have a resolution to approve?
As a proud father of a veteran,
Yes.
I would like to move this resolution.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, the motion passed. And with that, I just want to remind everyone, and there'll be other comments before we go in executive session, that we do have our Memorial Day service coming up a week from today at 2 p.m. in the afternoon at our Schlott House Park Memorial site. And that's going to be a very good day of events and further recognition of our service members. Also, I want to remind everyone, and I have here a letter from Judge Ray Chase, in this case Commander Ray Chase, to the town of Wappinger Board and Community from American Legion Commander Raymond C. Chase. And subject Memorial Day service, May 29th, 2023, time 11 a.m. at Messier Park. The American Legion Post 427, the VFW Post 5913 invites your organization to be part of the vets ceremony. And so I just want to make sure everybody, including our town residents, that they're invited by Commander Chase. Angela, you want to say something about Chelsea?
Chelsea will be having an event. It will be on our website. I will make sure that it's out there on the 29th. It's always a very well-received.
And I think normally that's like around 10 in the morning? I
Yes,
believe.
generally 10, but I don't want to quote the time, give the wrong time, but I will make sure that it's on our
Yeah.
website for everybody. But it
And-
is a moving ceremony.
Any other comments on any of those topics? If not, have a motion to go into executive session. We have a union MOA issue to discuss.
Before we do that, if I may, just make a comment about something. As long as the board doesn't have any issue. I just want to mention that I attended an Eagle Scout Court of Honor for Robert A. Saru Jr. yesterday, and I wanted to congratulate Eagle Scout Robert Saru Jr. From the dais for an incredible achievement. Many Eagle Scout candidates come before this board and provide service to this town, community service. Supervisor Thurston and I are both Eagle Scouts, and I wanted to mention that on the record, that we congratulate him and certainly invite any other Eagle Scout candidates to come before us. There's plenty of service that can be community service that can be found around the town to assist with getting to the finish line in their Eagle Scout. Also want to thank the residents that came out at our press conference last Friday, and the board members that were able to make it. I understand it was a weekday, so it's tough for everyone to be there, but I thought it was an important day for us to be able to announce our unique partnership with our law enforcement partners from the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office, the New York State Police, and the Wappinger Central School District. And I have heard from a number of residents who have children in our elementary schools, Evans and Myers Corners, who greatly appreciate the fact that the town has shown a proactive stance in providing for additional security. In fact, over the last week, there actually was a situation at Myers Corners Elementary School where an individual was trying to gain access to the school through a side door. And it ended up being apparent, but it was able to be quickly mitigated by our law enforcement partners, and I'm proud to be part of this, as are my colleagues, providing for additional safety for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, we have a motion to go in executive session.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, the motion passed. Thank you.